Segment 2, Gold and Black Live, joined by Peyton Stovall, one of the good guys in the business of college athletics. I call everybody younger than me young. You're not young. You're well experienced, but a young someone that developed his skills all the way from his high school playing days at Lafayette Jeff to go to school and be a Division I basketball player at Ball State. But it seems to me you've kind of worked your career up to where you are now. Of course, that's Associate Athletic Director for the Student Athlete Development. You are a perfect fit for that. But yet I also understand that's in today's world is a challenge. So welcome to the show. But tell us a little bit about how that role continues to evolve. I'm sure it's changed a little bit, even in the last couple of years, just with all the things that have gone on in the transfer portal and NIL world.
Yeah. First, Alan, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure having a conversation with you and just talking sports and talking life, and then talking student athletes and student athlete development. All things Purdue, man. This is the place for it. So I appreciate you having me on. And then, just in my role, it's evolved, since the first time we had a conversation back in 2019 and we had some touch base a couple of times to where we are today. It is continuously growing, and so is our team. So I've been really proud to say that our student athletes are getting better in every single area of their life outside of sport. And our AD and our senior administration have done an outstanding job of really focusing in on those things. How that can be a differentiator, that can be a difference between us and another school. So those things have been huge for us. Excited about to talk a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, I think when even talking with Ken Halpin a couple of weeks ago, Mike Babinski a few weeks before that, just the whole notion that this can be a competitive advantage. In the world, there's so many options. It is, I guess a criticism, though I don't know that it's the reality. It is a student athlete focus. They have options, more options than they've ever had. There's money involved in all those kind of things. But do you treat it as much of anything as the opportunity to, make this experience so good that kids won't leave if at all possible? Is that really the goal? And how has that continued, if so, to evolve here over the last several years?
Yeah. And so when we sit in every single one of these recruiting meetings, our pitch is to the parents and the student athlete is it's our job to make you better than how you walked in. So we're doing our best to make sure that comes to reality for our student athletes, and that comes to the leadership, the professional career development, the understanding what servant leadership looks like, how to use their NIL to impact their community and help it grow, and then just mental health and growing that every single day so that we have strong minds and bodies around them so they can be successful for long terms. That's been our pitch to a lot of our recruits that come in. Because parents want to know, they know that Coach Painter is a hell of a coach, right? They know that. They know that our volleyball coach just is the winning coach of all time. These are special things going around at Purdue. That the parents also want to know is how are you going to prepare my young student athlete, my son, daughter, for the next 40 years, what it looks like for them. And that's where we come in. Our team's been really successful so far of making sure that the student athlete is getting everything they need, and some of the things they want and some of the things that we know they need to be prepared for life after sport. So we've hit a lot of different areas in that scope.
Financial literacy seems to be now, for many of them, a really important thing. Talk about programs that you have going with that, and because it's important. It's important for any college student, to be honest, but seems to have even more of a area where because there is some money coming their way that it's important what they do with it.
Yeah, and we don't want to tell them what they should or shouldn't do with their money, but we also want to make sure that they're prepared to know, here's a successful way that people have used money before. Like there is a trail on in a way we can educate them on how to best practice using their money. So we do from the start, just a little small education from the foundation piece of things, knowing how to budget, how to prepare in terms of paying rent and what to hold back. And now with NIL, that definitely has grown. To talk a little bit about taxes and have some professionals come in and talk to them about that. Because at some point, Uncle Sam says we've done well, the both of us, right?
Yeah.
And did you hold it back enough? And I think that's important for our student athletes to know. But it comes down to if you have some money, then maybe you want to invest it too. And knowing how to do some of those things are what our team has been focused on for a lot of our student athletes as well. So it's been good, and we're trying to attack it in strategic ways, so that way it's not boring for them, and they can get something really out of it.
Have you, are you, when you look at your days, not all that long ago as a student athlete and the opportunities to do this, it is different. That's with a capital D. Is it better? Do you still think there's a lot of hoops to go through to make this the best experience possible for a college student that wants to play big time college athletics? How do you view that in terms of that evolution?
Yeah, it definitely has evolved from when I played from back in the day, but I think it's gotten better. It's gotten better for the student athlete. I think it continues to get better for the communities that these universities reside in. The experience of the student athlete and the fan coming into facilities is so much greater than it was. So I think we're continuing to get better. Does that mean there's not speed bumps and things that we can tighten up and tune up? Of course. And that's what we hope to do as a university and as athletic department is to make sure that the fan experience as well as the student athlete experience is top notch. And then just working here at a great institution like Purdue, that the people that are in these facilities and they're grinding every single day, that they love coming to work. And I think those are things that our department is definitely doing. But I mean, Alan, like you said, it's changed a lot. But I think that if we continue to find ways to be different than other schools, this could be and will be continue to be a great place to come to watch games.
Mental health is a for lack of a term, more than a buzzword. It's obviously something that you're trying to live every day, and more of an emphasis on that. You've had some change in personnel there, but also talk about your role and the role of your area in really making sure that there's a lot being thrown at these young men and women that goes without saying. But how do you navigate that, and how it's obviously important. It's obviously got to be a thrust. And I'm sure that parents that come in want to make sure that part is also looked at.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. And we talk about evolution. Social media has changed that a lot, right? Good and bad. Opportunities have come through the social platform that we've never seen before, right? And it continues to grow. But with that, there's also some tough areas. Where student athletes are getting named or getting called names, and you've never been scrutinized more in athletics during this time. So just continue to remind our student athletes, how to use social, the importance of having a strong mind, body, and soul. And sometimes separating yourself away from athletics to just figuring out, what else is there for you. So that way you can have a strong hold on those things too. So a lot of conversations with that. Dr. Andy Walsh, he's new with us. Man, he is outstanding. And he's going to help us out a lot. And I'm excited about him and how he's going to impact our student athletes. And Right now, he's working on building the team out, and very lucky he's going to actually we'll be right next to him here in our offices in Mollenkoff. So we'll have an opportunity as student athletes are coming in and they're buzzing by to connect them with Dr. Walsh and make sure that he's integrated so well into Purdue athletics. He's going to be a huge part of how our mental health continues to rise. And I think you'll see over time too, just his plan is really cool, just to not only help our student athletes, but how our student athletes' mental health also impacts the community, and how that all kind of intertwines. So great guy. I'm excited about him and how we can continue to help our student athletes grow.
In athletes typically, and you were one at the highest level, is that you come in with confidence. You've got to be confident. If you're not on the playing field, court, or in the pool, or wherever you are. But they can't, all these other areas we've talked about, financial literacy, mental health, on down the line. Do you find them, does that confidence translate, or are many that really not hand holding, but they need to say, hey, you're intellectually capable of doing this? I mean, how do you find the student athlete in terms of where they come in on the confidence level of some of these other areas, that are extremely important to not only their athletic career, but their personal career moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you see everywhere. It's everywhere in the country that when they come from their high schools, they're the best of the best, and they come to a big university, and everybody was the best at the last location that they were at. So learning to go through adversity and how to prevail, is one thing that we have a lot of discussions about, and how to grow through those things. We actually are having a speaker come in and talk to our student athletes here in a couple of weeks, Shaquem Griffin. He's going to come in, former NFL player, went through a ton of adversity. If you don't know his story, I encourage you to take a look at it. Had a twin brother and lost his arm. So he went through a lot of things, but ultimately found a way to be one of the best in the country at what he does. And I'm sure through his walk, there's a lot of opportunities for him to quit and say, this is it for me. I'm done. But he pushed through. And because he did, he reached a goal that a lot of people probably told him, this isn't for you. So that's what we're trying to push to our student athletes is, if you can continue to push through, strategically and be smart about it, and use your resources and tap into the people that care about you, you can achieve so much. And we're here to support you and help you in that walk. So it's going to be really good to have him in, but excited to get another wrinkle to the student athlete overall experience.
In your background, obviously at Evansville North and Lafayette Jeff as an AD, in terms of that, is that now, I mean, in our lives, we take experiences from where we come from. Talk about that role. And I've asked you this probably in years past, but how that's helped you really walk in the shoes of that first time athlete, but also understand coaches, understand that mentality of trying to put teams together. How has that continued to serve you? And you're a grizzled veteran now in Purdue athletics, but I mean, we still draw from what we did before.
Yeah. And that experience as a high school AD was one of the best parts of my life, working at Lafayette Jeff here at my alma mater, for a great administration, working for Mark Preston, who was also a former coach of mine, and then was the principal. Like that, those people shape you, right? Yeah. And so, being able to learn from those folks, and then also understanding as an AD at that level, like you're still helping people, right? Yeah. Still helping young people try to accomplish their goals. Also understanding that coaches they have a goal as well that they're trying to reach. So do the parents. The parents also have a goal that they would like to see out of their young their child. and they expect for wherever they're sending, whatever coaches, whatever team they're going to be on, that you have some type of idea of that goal for their young person in their life. And so it's no different here at the college level. Is everybody has the expectations that they want to reach, but it's our goal. And working with the coaches, I get to personally work with men's and women's tennis, and understand that the more vocal and more communication you have with the student athlete to tell them where they are, where they need to go, the better, right? So that line of communication is always key to the success. But knowing that everybody's on the same page, right?
Yeah.
We want to get them all on the same page, read from the same music, and reach those goals. That's what I've learned in my time. Is if we can get everybody on that same music sheet, it can sound pretty beautiful. So that's probably the biggest thing I've learned, through my experience so far.
You didn't know you were on a job interview here today. I don't. I hate to ask those questions. I know, but it's interesting to me. I mean, it's interesting in what makes you tick and what goes from there. Okay, now let's talk about some fun stuff. Not that the other stuff isn't fun. It's very interesting and very important. Basketball is important to you. You played again at an extremely high level. I'm guessing you still mix it up with noontime basketball or whenever you guys play anymore. And I in my days in the athletic department, I wouldn't have wanted to try to guard you. I couldn't have guarded you. And I definitely couldn't guard you now. But Purdue men's basketball, let's talk a little bit about that, just because you're an observer of Braden Smith's really good. And so is Fletcher Lawyer. So is Jakari Harris. So is CJ Cox. I don't know how much you've been over there at all, but give us a little evaluation of what you think we'll see out of Matt Painter's team this year. It certainly looks like it's going to be a really interesting season.
Yeah. I've probably been over at Mackey and Cardinal probably more than I should have. I got the itch, and it's basketball season. I got to go over there and check it out. And I appreciate Paint, man. Paint lets me come in there and watch. He knows I got an itch, I got a scratch. So he's awesome with that. But like you said, we're gonna be really good. Basketball's gonna be really good, and Braden Smith coming back, Lawyer coming back. We got all our core group guys that'll be here. And some young fellas that are sneaking into the mix. So with so many pieces, that it's hard to manage. I'm sure it's hard to manage that, but nobody's been better at doing it than Matt Painter, right? Being able to stack and know how to strategically put guys in places to be successful. That's what he does. And then just develop young guys. Just develop them into their 3-4 year guys on campus who are graduating and getting opportunities. That's what I see when I walk into that gym. I see a bunch of guys that are going to be successful for years to come, and then I see basketball players, and I'm excited. It's going to be a great year to watch college basketball. And I'll tell you, I've gotten to watch a little bit of the women's team too. And, they're coming. They're coming, and I'm like, man, we got some pieces, some different pieces, some shooters, some bigs that have soft hands around the basket. I think it's going to be an exciting year for our winter sports.
Yeah, having competitive edge and having a little, like you said, that term itch. Even Braden Smith at the level that he is, and of course an All-American level player. Always want to get better, and he seems to always be that way. And that's you model that well. I can see just my relatively brief opportunities to speak with you. But Peyton, good luck the rest of this year. I know you got a young family. We talked offline the fact that you've got your hands full in terms of having kids in youth sports, but I wish you well, and to juggle events every weekend, which is what you're up against. But you do it well, and we thank you so much for your time. All right, we will take a short break and bring in Steve Wiltfong, who will talk from On3. We'll talk a little football transfer portal. It's a subject that Peyton knows well, but recruiting and transfer portal, and a little bit on what's next. What he sees next for college sports that would be another topic for Peyton. How's this all going to shake out? None of us know for sure, but it keeps you on your toes. So we'll look forward to that. Peyton, thanks again. We'll stay tuned for a couple-minute break. We'll be back with more on Gold and Black Live.